Hi everyone, welcome again to another video. Now I'm going to be filming this fly here. This adult midge is a blue and black. Good pattern for the beginning of the season. Good pattern for right through the season. Both for wild brown trout, rainbows, fishing in the lochs, and even in the river you could happily fish this. There's plenty of terrestrial type midge or patterns that get blown on that this would represent. So it's quite simple to tie. Now there is a wee fluorescent tag at the back. Now I'm going to try and answer a couple of questions while I'm tying this, and one was, before I start tying, a good all round hook. Now this is a great hook. I use it in quite a few flies. I mean, I use it in, like, this is a wet fly. It's I'll show you. This is a short shank special black nickel in this case, size 12. Now the style of the hook is, it's a size 12 because of the gape. It's a wide gape, but it's a short shank. The shank length is equivalent to a size 14. But because of the style, you can tie emergers on it. You can tie like midge, give that curl-like shaped body. You can tie clink hammers, dry heads, emergers, detached bodied flies. I've used it in lots of patterns. So that's why it's a good hook to use if you're trying to save a wee bit of money and have a hook that can do a few different things. It is a medium wire hook and it is strong. Landed many a fish on this hook. So if you're going to be fishing, if you're even fishing wets, it's a great wee fly. It's a great wee hook, sorry, for many patterns. So anyway, I'll show you how to tie this pattern. Now I'm going to be able to get the fluorescent sort of tag at the back. I'm going to be using this fluorescent red, and as you can see, this is a full mill. It's a flat thread. You can see it's a really bright fluorescent thread. It's a good aiming point. It's very good for the brown trout. The red tag is much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch it on just about in line with the point of the hook. Just to remove the waste. Now I'm going to use a small silver wire as a rib, which will protect the body, protect the tag. The back, or just in this case it will be the thread. So catch this on the way down. Just use the, oops, it slipped out. Use the wire as to guide the thread as you wind down. So just what way around the bend. To this point here, then we can form a small tag with the thread. We can cut them down a bit just to make it much brighter. And then we can quickly take it out and just change to a black thread. I'm just going to use a Uni 80. I could have changed it once I got up, but it's just as quick to do it this way. Now the body of this fly can just be black dubbing, black thread even. But I'm going to be using dyed black pheasant tail. So I'm going to catch this on the way down, but bring out so you have a good, I don't know how many fibres there, maybe 8-9 fibres there, because I'm going to use this as the thorax cover as well. So it needs quite a bit of material. So we catch this on the way down. So I realize if you can do this, as you wind down, pull the fibre to the points, and then we can work our way back up. I'm going to stop in line with the point of the hook, so I'm going to let the thread go. It's in line with the point. Now the pheasant tail is the weakest fibre, so I'll wind that towards myself. Just spread the fibre out, it'll cover really quick. Gives you a lovely body. When you get to this point, because I'm winding the opposite way I wind my thread, you have to lock this in. So you do a turn over the pheasant tail, turn onto the hook, do the same again. And then what's going to protect and hold it best is the rib. So the rib's going to protect our tag at the back, and then cross rib our pheasant tail as we wind up. And don't be shy with the number of turns, because it is a midge. So you want to show that segment. Now you want to see the silver. Now once we get up 3 or 4 turns, we can bend and break away by the rib or wire. Fold back our pheasant tail. Secure that back to where our body finishes there. Again, we try and get in line with that point of the hook. So as I say, that's going to be our thorax cover, but at the same time it's going to separate our, say, hackle points. In this case I'm going to use dyed grey. This is just an Indian. It was a white, which I've dyed a nice sort of blue dun colour. Just using up these small hackles at the bottom. And I'm about the same size. I use up the ones that you can't use right at the bottom there. I use the bigger ones at the top for other flies, for dries and such. I could even use these as well. Now what I'm doing here is I'm lining them up, just laying one on top of the other. Make sure they're the same length. All you do is you want it towards the back, just like the back of the hook, see there. So we get one measurement, hold them, come round a couple of turns. So see how they're sitting. Just do a wee test run, because to help hold them apart we use the thorax cover, in this case the pheasant tail. See what it's like. Check my length. As I say, midge wings are actually quite long. That'll do, I'm happy enough with that. Trim away the waste. Screw that in, wax in your thread. You give yourself plenty of room. Now the thorax could be quite a few things. I'm going to be using the Nymph flash dub with the black UV. It's got a nice wee bit of UV in it. So it's nice and soft as well. You can use whatever you have. You don't have to use this. Just I like it. So from the sort of head length away from the eye, I'm going to put the dubbing on the thread, dub it on, and then I'm going to work from there up to the wings and the thorax cover. See what we like. Just work the way up, come back through. Just form a nice thorax-like shape. Oops. Anything going forward at this point here, we can draw it back. Put a wee bit of wax on my thread. I'm going to tie in a hackle, and again I'm using the wee Indian necks in this case. Well, it's dyed black, as you can see here. When you dye black, you really got to add heat to set the colour. So what this does, it actually makes the cape or the skin very brittle. In this case, when I went to get a feather, it broke away, but then I keep it in the same packet so I don't lose it. So I've got the small feathers at the base here, which I've got a long enough fibre to give you an impression of the legs as well. So there we are. So we just take away the fluff. Now the reason I selected that small cape is because when I was looking through these, I looked for the very thin stems. Makes it easier to tie. So if you check them out when you're buying them, just check for the thin stems. Doesn't matter what colour the cape, natural cape, it can be any colour really. If you're going to be dyeing it black in this case, if you're going to be dyeing it grey, you need to get the white ones. So just use my hackle pliers here. A couple of turns is usually enough. When the front of the hackle facing the eye, facing forward anyway. So a couple of turns just to give that impression. Now I'll get another fly out of that hackle. There's still enough on there, so a couple of turns to hold. Screw it in. There's the tip. So as I say, I can get another fly out of that. Mainsail is probably a smaller one, but I could probably get away with the same size. Again, a wee bit of wax on my thread. I'm going to bring my pheasant tail over for my thorax cover. Just hold. You can tighten up. See how our wings are sitting. Just get them to sit there, fine. Before we tighten up, before we finish, before we remove any of the waste, so once you do that, you can't go back. And then we just form a nice head with the thread. You could put varnish on my thread, but I'm going to varnish the head itself. 2, 3. Meaning I usually sometimes put varnish on the thread when I do the whip finish, but in this case I'll just do it once I've done that. Just roll these fibres so they sit back. There it looks. Yeah, so it's just basically a midge pattern. And what we do, a wee bit of varnish onto the head. All the way around. Now if you do get some varnish in the eye, see your dubbing needle, what I do is just underneath, just draw it towards myself, taking away the excess, clean the eye out. There we are. Obviously best to do that while it's still wet, and you'll have a perfect eye. So there we are. That's the plain black adult midge. Just mess around. If you want a white wing, normally white suits olives more. It's got a much lighter, paler wing, though you can use grey as well. But in the black, grey works, grizzle works, which is a black and white mix, gives the grey colour. So especially when it's wet. But the wee tackle tips just gives it a lovely look. It does work, the grey. So anyway, there we are, folks. Quite a simple pattern to tie. Worth tying in size of big, size below. So there, folks, that's our adult midge pattern, the plain black. Nice pattern, nice dressing. You can tie them many colours. I've tied these via pure grey through to browns, and olive's obviously a great colour. Beginning of the season, black. You can't go far wrong with a black midge. This, as I say, I would put this probably, you could hang it off a dry dropper if you want to get it close to the surface. This is where I like to have this fly. If you're fishing wets or a team, this could be in the middle or the top dropper. It just depends on the other flies you're fishing. It could even be in the point, because it's the finest dressed flies should go in the point in a way, so it turns over easier. But anyway, there we are, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. And like always, thanks for watching. Until next time.